Rome, a name that still causes history to tremble. Yet among all the wonders born from the heart of the most powerful empire that ever existed, one alone stands as its eternal symbol. A structure so monumental, its form so perfect, that it seems an impossibility even today. And yet, it was raised nearly 2,000 years ago without modern machinery, without reinforced concrete, without the aid of advanced technology. It was built by the sheer force of ingenuity, of human hands, and of absolute imperial will. It is the Colosseum, a colossus of travertine and tough, conceived not merely to inspire awe, but to master the masses, to broadcast the supremacy of Rome to the farthest corners of the known world, to sculpt in living rock the undying glory of an emperor. But behind its architectural perfection, a darker history is hidden, a story of ambition, sweat, and blood, a saga of spectacle and power played out upon an arena of sand, fire, and iron. This is the story of how the Romans achieved one of humanity's most extraordinary marvels, and how it has endured nearly 20 centuries of war, earthquake, and ruin. The story of the Colosseum does not begin with a laying of stone. It begins with fire. The great fire that consumed Rome in the year 64 AD under the reign of the infamous Emperor Nero. A devastating inferno reduced vast swathes of the city to ash, and suspicion fell squarely upon the emperor himself. Whispers turned to accusations that he had lit the flames to clear space for his own grandiose projects. And indeed, upon those smoking ruins, Nero built a monument to his own ego, the Domus Aurea, the Golden House. It was an opulent palace of unprecedented scale, complete with artificial lakes, private forests, and a colossal gilded statue of himself. For a populace living in misery, it was a profound and unforgivable insult. But after Nero's death, the world changed. A new emperor, Vespasian, founder of the Flavian dynasty, rose to power. His mission was clear: to break decisively with the past, to erase the memory of the tyrant, and to win back the favor of the Roman people. His solution was an act of masterful political theater. Where Nero's private lake once shimmered, Vespasian ordered the land to be drained. And in its place, he commanded the construction of a public amphitheater, a gift for the people, accessible to all. A monument not to one man's vanity, but to the generosity and power of Rome itself. This project was not merely architecture, it was propaganda etched in stone. The message was unmistakable. Where the luxury of a single man once stood, the entertainment of 70,000 citizens would now rise. The Colosseum was born not just to astound, but to legitimize an emperor, to unify a people, and to declare that Rome and its new dynasty were eternal. In the year 72 AD, the city of Rome was alive, humming with the sound of chisels and the clamor of a project that no one had ever dared to imagine. It was an undertaking so vast it bordered on a dream, or perhaps on madness. It was the story of a dream of stone, forged in fire and destined for eternity. Before the first stone could be laid, another world had to be erased. The site chosen was not empty ground, but a statement of intent. Here, in the heart of Rome, lay the opulent artificial lake of Nero's Domus Aurea, a monument to private decadence. The new Flavian dynasty would drain it to its dregs, burying the memory of a tyrant, and upon its reclaimed earth, erect a monument for the people. The work began with a colossal excavation. Foundations were driven deep into the valley floor, a testament to the scale of the vision. Roman engineers, masters of their craft, understood the earth and the materials it offered. Their choice was travertine, the pale stone of Tivoli, renowned for its formidable stability and luminous complexion. From the quarries, a relentless procession began. Enormous, precisely squared blocks were heaved onto heavy wagons, groaning under the strain as teams of oxen dragged them along the ancient roads to the capital. On site, a forest of timber cranes rose into the sky, their wooden arms, powered by the sheer muscle of men turning massive tread wheels, hoisted the stones into place. The city echoed with the cacophony of creation. It was a project that consumed the days and the nights, a swarming, sweating legion of humanity, slaves and freemen, architects and blacksmiths, masons and laborers, all bound to a single monumental task. Scaffolding climbed ever higher, a skeletal web of beams and rope clinging to the rising walls, while the air, thick with dust, rang with the percussive symphony of hammers on stone, the rasp of saws, and the shouts of 1,000 voices. Yet the true strength of this emerging giant was not merely in its materials. It was an idea, elegantly expressed in stone and mortar, the repetitive, load-bearing genius of the arch. The structure was a cellular masterpiece. Each arch supported the next, each vault buttressed its neighbor, creating a system of perfectly distributed weight. This modular design was not only incredibly resilient, but it also allowed for an astonishing speed of construction. The imperial grandeur. The interior, however, was a marvel of practicality, employing lighter tufa and brick. It was a calculated fusion of lightness, strength, and speed, a masterclass in efficiency and solidity. In just 8 years, under the Emperor Titus, son of Vespasian, the impossible was achieved. When its gates were thrown open in the year 80 of the Common Era, many could scarcely believe that such a structure could rise from the earth in less than a decade. The Colosseum was complete, ready to host the greatest spectacle the world had ever known. To pass through one of its 80 vaulted entrances was to step into another reality. The spectator was confronted with an architectural leviathan, a tiered universe of stone capable of holding as many as 70,000 souls. Here, the rigid hierarchy of Roman society was made manifest. The seating was a map of power. The closer one was to the action, the higher one's status. Senators and equestrians occupied the prime lower levels, while above them sat the ordinary citizens, and higher still, in the upper tiers, the poor, the slaves, and the women. Yet, for all this stratification, entry was a right of citizenship, offered free of charge by the emperor, a potent tool of public appeasement. At its heart lay the stage. Its name, the arena, derived from the Latin for the very sand that covered its wooden floor. A vast, elliptical platform, thirsty for the blood it was designed to absorb. Encircling it was a high protective wall, and beneath it, hidden from view, lay the Hypogeum. This was the engine room of the spectacle, a subterranean labyrinth of corridors, chambers, cages, and elevators. A complex machine of death and illusion, where men and beasts waited in the darkness. Through a system of manual lifts and ingenious trapdoors, the arena floor could suddenly erupt, disgorging ferocious animals, armed gladiators, or even elaborate mobile stage sets. It was a theatre of mortality, produced with a logistical prowess worthy of an empire. The day's grim festivities began at dawn with the venationes, the wild beast hunts. Tigers from the east, lions from North Africa, bears from the Germanic forests, elephants, panthers, exotic creatures torn from the furthest reaches of the empire, many never before seen in Europe, were slaughtered to awe-splay of macabre theatricality, forced to reenact tragic myths, their real deaths providing a gruesome finale. This was more than mere entertainment. It was a ritualized display of Roman order, a brutal confirmation of the empire's power over man, nature, and life itself. The cheers of the crowd were the validation of a civilization that could build wonders and orchestrate nightmares with equal skill, leaving behind a monument whose silent arches still ask us to contemplate the terrifying proximity of human genius and human savagery. And then they would appear, the protagonists of the bloody sand, the gladiators. They were men forged in the crucible of conquest, their lives forfeit as prisoners of war or born into the chains of slavery. Yet among them walked free men, the desperate and the bold, volunteers who gambled their very existence for a fleeting chance at glory and gold. They did not simply fight, they performed. Each contest was a lethal ballet, governed by cold, hard rules, and fought in spectacular, custom-forged armor that announced their fighting style to the roaring masses. The duels were a breathtaking choreography of violence, but the threat was never an illusion. The blood that stained the arena floor was real. Here, power was an inverted pyramid. The mob, a single thunderous voice, would pass its judgment, but the final irrevocable decree belonged to the emperor. With a simple gesture, a thumb turned up or down, a life was spared or extinguished. On the most magnificent of occasions, the spectacle would transcend even this. In a feat of hydraulic engineering that defied belief, the wooden floor of the arena would be removed, and water from the nearby aqueducts would surge in, transforming the basin into an artificial lake. These were the naumachii, the mock naval battles. Entire ships, built to scale, would be maneuvered into the flooded amphitheater. Hundreds of men, condemned criminals and prisoners, would reenact famous naval victories, fighting to the death amidst the clash of oars and the splintering of hulls, all under the astonished gaze of thousands. This was more than mere entertainment. It was a sophisticated instrument of state control. The promise of panem et circenses, bread and circuses, was the bedrock of imperial stability. It was a pact, an unspoken contract that kept a restless populace placid, their passions channeled, their loyalties bound not to abstract ideals, but to the emperor who provided the visceral thrill. Within these walls, Rome revealed its two faces, the ferocious, unyielding visage of a conqueror and the theatrical, mesmerizing heart of a master showman. At first glance, the Colosseum overwhelms with its sheer scale. But to truly grasp its genius is to look closer, to read the story written in its very stones. The elliptical edifice measures approximately 189 meters in length and 156 meters in width. Its original height soared to nearly 50 meters, the equivalent of a modern 17-story building. It was, and remains, the largest amphitheater ever constructed in human history. Its exterior is a lesson in architectural hierarchy, rising through 4 distinct levels. At its base, the unadorned strength of the Doric order. Above it, the elegant scroll of the Ionic. And at its crown, the ornate Corinthian, a flourish of acanthus leaves reaching for the sky. But the true marvel was concealed within, in the flawless logic of its design. The Colosseum was engineered to function with the ruthless efficiency of a modern stadium. As many as 70,000 spectators could pour into the structure and disperse to their seats within minutes. This miracle of crowd management was achieved through a revolutionary system of 80 ground-level arches, known as vomitoria, which fed into a network of radial staircases and passages. These were the arteries of stone, channeling the human tide in an orderly, controlled flow. Each entrance was numbered, the digit carved into the keystone of the arch, a system of uncanny modernity. Inside the seating, or cavea, was a rigid microcosm of the Roman world, its social strata etched into the rising tiers. Closest to the deadly action, on broad marble terraces, sat the senators, consuls, and visiting dignitaries. Above them, in the next tier, were the knights and wealthy citizens. Higher still, the ordinary Roman populace, the plebeians. And at the very top, in the standing room sections, were the lowest classes, the poor, the slaves, and the women, each in their designated place, looking down upon a world they could never enter. Crowning the entire structure was a ring of pillars and corbels designed to support the velarium. This was a colossal canvas awning, masterfully manipulated by a detachment of sailors from the imperial fleet who would unfurl it across the open sky. It shielded the audience from the searing Mediterranean sun, casting the arena below in a dramatic, shifting light. Every detail served a purpose. Hidden corridors allowed for the sudden appearance of gladiators and beasts. Vast cisterns provided water for the crowds and the staged naval battles. Subterranean storerooms and holding pens lay beneath the arena floor. Nothing was left to chance. This was not merely a building, it was a perfect, intricate machine where every block of travertine had a function, every corridor a purpose, every space engineered to inspire awe and to endure. It was a concentration of innovation, symbolism, and secrets, animated by the sounds of a roaring crowd and the metallic tang of blood in the air. A monument not only to the genius of Rome, but to its appetites. A flawless, terrible engine designed to awe the world and devour men. The air, thick with the metallic tang of blood, was a stench the Romans could not abide. To mask the carnage, clouds of incense and costly perfumes were dispersed throughout the stands, a fragrant veil drawn over the visceral reality below. Every moment was a calculated performance. The soaring notes of flutes and the blare of trumpets punctuated the spectacle, a meticulously crafted symphony designed to manipulate the senses, to heighten the tension, to keep 50,000 hearts beating as one. And then there is the legend of its name. History tells us its formal title was the Flavian Amphitheatre, a monument to the dynasty that built it. But the people gave it another name, one that would eclipse its official designation forever. It was not named for its own immense scale, but for a titan that once stood beside it, the Colossus of Nero, a gilded bronze statue towering more than 30 meters into the sky. The statue is long gone, melted down and lost to the ages, but its ghost remains, lending its name to the arena that dwarfed it in both size and historical significance. It was a place where reality so often outstripped the most fevered imagination. But not even giants are eternal. With the slow, inexorable collapse of the Western Roman Empire, the lifeblood of the Colosseum began to drain away. The Great Games, the bedrock of its existence, ceased in the 5th century. The final gladiatorial contests were staged under the reign of Emperor Honorius, and then, after 4 centuries of thunderous applause and desperate cries, an unnerving silence descended. The reasons were twofold. The empire was fractured, its coffers empty. The staggering cost of the games had become an impossible extravagance, and a new power was reshaping the soul of Rome. Christianity, once a persecuted faith, was now the dominant religion of its purpose. Its great transformation began. Through the long twilight of the Middle Ages, the Colosseum became a fortress for warring noble families, its corridors echoing with the clash of steel rather than the roar of the crowd. Later, its shadowed arches offered refuge to the city's homeless and dispossessed. Then came the ultimate indignity. It was repurposed as a quarry. For centuries, its travertine blocks, its marble columns, and the iron clamps that held them together were systematically plundered. This monument to imperial glory was cannibalized to build the palaces and churches of a new Rome, even contributing to the foundations of St. Peter's Basilica itself. In the year 1349, a catastrophic earthquake struck, shaking the city to its core. A vast section of the outer southern wall collapsed, creating the iconic, broken silhouette we recognize today. The ruins were slowly swallowed by nature. By the 1500s, the arena floor had become a wild, overgrown garden, a microclimate so unique that it became a celebrated site for botanical study, its crumbling tiers home to hundreds of rare plant species. And yet, it never truly died. In the 1700s, the papacy began to see the arena in a new light, not as a pagan relic, but as a sacred symbol of Christian martyrdom. A cross was erected in the center of the arena, A via crucis was built along its perimeter, and all further quarrying was forbidden. The long process of conservation had begun. A century later, during the Risorgimento, the movement for Italian unification, the Colosseum was reborn once more. It became a national icon, a monument of identity for a new Italy seeking a tangible link to its glorious past. Stone by stone, through painstaking study and restoration, it was saved from oblivion. Today, millions of people from every corner of the globe walk through its arches. They photograph its stones, they listen to its stories, and perhaps without realizing it, they breathe the same air that once carried the scent of dust, iron, power, and fear. The Colosseum has survived earthquakes, wars, plunder, and the relentless passage of time itself. It endures not because it is made of stone, but because it is made of history. It is more than a monument. It is a silent witness to the totality of Rome, a theatre of breathtaking ingenuity and unspeakable cruelty, of imperial dominion and profound decay. Every stone holds a story. Every archway is an echo chamber of voices, of roars, of applause, of screams. Born to impress an empire, it has survived to remind the world. And if you stand within its walls and listen, truly listen past the noise of the modern city, you can almost hear it. The impatient stir of the crowd, the percussive clang of a shield falling to the sand, and the distant, eternal roar of a lion. To call the Colosseum ancient is to misunderstand its nature. It is not a relic of a forgotten age, it is eternal. Within its weathered travertine, a universe of unheard stories lies dormant. Forgotten marvels of engineering sleep beneath the arena floor, and journeys through time await in the silence of its corridors. The roar of 100,000 voices, the clash of steel, the silent prayers of gladiators. These are not mere echoes. They are living histories embedded in the very stones, waiting for those willing to listen. For this monument was not built of stone and mortar alone, but of the raw, enduring essence of human spectacle.